Hey everyone, it's John here from SHOUTOUT Hockey, back with another video, and this video is on the Winnipeg Jets. And could we see some huge trades, huge moves from the Winnipeg Jets? I just want to have a conversation here, eyes on the road, but having a conversation about the Winnipeg Jets and the situation around Pierre-Luc Dubois, the situation around Mark Scheifele. Will they deal Blake Wheeler? And I mean, all these situations, all these things happening. If they're going to trade some of these guys and not get ready roster players back, then could they trade Connor Hellebuyck? I think there's so many conversations out there. I was listening to Ken Wiebe today, and I was listening to, big shout out to Jet Sports Talk, and just listening to different sources and talking to different people. And I really think the Jets are in the middle right now. This is potentially a big upcoming year if they don't trade guys in the offseason, because Mark Scheifele's got 2 years left. Pierre-Luc Dubois, as of right now, 2 years removed from UFA status. I believe Wheeler and Hellebuyck both 2 years left on their contracts as well. So it's like you got a 2-year window here that might be a lot shorter all of a sudden. The Dubois situation with how Scheifele ended things at the end of the season. So just to talk about some destinations for these guys. Ken Wiebe threw out that maybe Blake Wheeler, would they entertain throwing him back to Boston? I think you'd have to take a contract back along with maybe a couple assets if you're Winnipeg. Could they be willing to take on like a Nick Foligno or like, hey, Forbert? But, I mean, at the end of the day, Bruins are trying to run it back with those guys, with Bergeron and Krejci potentially coming back. Like, a vet like Blake Wheeler, that could be a pretty good fit. I think in terms of Mark Scheifele, there's a few options. It definitely got smaller this offseason, so maybe it's a deadline move or next offseason at this point, because I would have said Mark Scheifele to the Rangers maybe. I would have said Mark Scheifele to the Avalanche before they spent money, but I don't know about the same division. I would have said Mark Scheifele maybe to the Red Wings, which I guess is still possible, but now they signed Andrew Kopp. I think Scheifele could go to a few teams. I would say one team for Scheifele that is really interesting is the Carolina Hurricanes. Would the Winnipeg Jets consider a package centered around Kotkaniemi, like centered around Kotkaniemi, a pick, prospect? Like, could they have some interest in a guy like Ryan Suzuki in Carolina's system? I mean, Aho and Scheifele up the middle in Carolina would be nuts. Carolina could make the money work if Kotkaniemi did go the other way. I would say there's a couple other teams out there. I would say in terms of, I've talked about the Islanders a lot lately. If the Jets had interest in like guys like Nelson or Pajot, maybe that could be part of the swap, part of the package the other way. I think there's a few other teams, but I think the point on this conversation is, which guy is going to be the first to go, or are they going to try to run it back a couple more years? I think Connor Hellebuyck would have so many options. I think Hellebuyck could go to a team. Well, he's from Michigan, so I was going to say Red Wings before they made the Husso deal. The biggest hot take of the century would be if the Panthers were able to get rid of the Bobrovsky contract, or maybe even in this deal. Like, could the Panthers go after Hellebuyck, have a couple American goalies with Hellebuyck and Spencer Knight? I mean, I don't know about that. I would say the other one would be St. Louis, but Binner's got a no-trade clause. And I'm sure there's a few others that I haven't really talked about here. But there's definitely options for the Winnipeg Jets. I just think they need to make decisions quicker here. Cheveldayoff's got to realize that if Dubois is going to have this situation where I don't know if he's going to sit out or what will happen, and then if Scheifele's unhappy with the situation, a lot of things behind the scenes, then maybe they do try to move on from Blake Wheeler and create a lot of cap space and start building towards the future. Building towards a future that sees Cole Perfetti as a big piece. You still build around Connor and Ehlers. Like, you just drafted 2 guys in the first round, which I think both have great potential. I think the Jets still have a really bright future. I think you still have a pretty solid defense core with your younger guys, and one guy that I'll cite in Ville Heinola. I think once you get Heinola in there, Morrissey, Pionk, and then whoever you decide to keep long-term between maybe Schmidt or Dillon, I think that can still be solid enough. The Jets have always had question marks around their defense, but obviously Hellebuyck has made up for that in a lot of aspects. So I did want to just talk about it and have a discussion about the Winnipeg Jets. I think Hellebuyck They want to keep him. He's one of the best goalies in the league, and I think that's their ideal scenario. But Hellebuyck, getting into his 30s, I think it's a situation where if Scheifele and Dubois were to go and you're not getting sufficient pieces back in terms of ready roster players, then I don't know. We'll see what happens. So they might trade Hellebuyck if that goes down, if they are trading like Scheifele or Dubois or some of these guys. So give me your thoughts, guys, in the comment section. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like, hit the notification bell, do all that good stuff. And could the Winnipeg Jets be making some big moves coming up? I think it's possible. And I think if one domino falls, don't be surprised if more are to come. So see you guys soon. Have a good one. Peace out.